Welcome back to Lord Dump number 3. I'm your host. I'm your host. Good heavens. Anyway, we're back. What's up? It's me again. I am easier on the vocal cords, as I was just telling our friends here, so I'm going to keep talking. Bonehill will probably interject when he wants to. But for now, it is me. It is my time, because I am enjoying this. I do love talking. Now that we're past the shit, I'm okay with this. And, if we finish early, we might just snoop author's Instagram, because we don't have all of 2020 art and onward, logged in the slideshow, just because that's too much work. Bonehill was tired. This is 200 slides, by the way, for those that don't know. We have 200 slides to go through. So there was just no point in adding all of extra art that, really, it's not like there's a lot of big changes that happened 2020 and onward that we don't kind of touch on. So that's just a fun end thing we may or may not do. So last time we left off, I was talking about authors' blog posts that they like to do, or they did like to do when they were a mentor for a kid's site, about how to love your stories or how to love your art or whatever else. So that's what this was. I'm skipping ahead. My bad. Sorry, Mom. Not yet. All right. So here we have some more drawings. Here we have a nice one of me, Tunyoi, and Shavu for 4th of July, and this was mainly just because we're red, white, and blue. That was kind of the main reason we were picked. To be fair, nowadays Tunyoi would either be trying to eat the sparklers or have even more sparklers in just their hair and everything. But back then Tunyoi isn't quite to that chaos level yet. She's learning. It has to be fair, this is an outfit that author would wear with a black sports bra with a white tank top that kind of had, I think it had graphic letters on it, a graphic tee. So kind of looking like author here, which would be an author reaction to my ass over here. I think this is when I get an orange tongue too. I think that was this year, which is neat. This is National Taco Day. Me and my mans. I love this drawing. This is a good drawing of him. I think this is when his nose really gets this shape. It's really interesting how I don't think I brought this up yet either, but my nose is just these two shapes. I don't know what my nose technically actually looked like. It was just this little half circle bump and then an unfinished triangle. That was just the shape it was always at. It's up for quite a while. I don't know why. I think it was because I did have a bump in the bridge of my nose for a little while in my appearance. Now it's just an upturned nose. So I had because Ultika has that bump, right? I had that too. I guess this is kind of what it was showing. I don't know why my nose was just so weird. Look, the Shavu and Tunyoi got normal noses. I don't have nostrils. I don't know what's happening. I can't breathe. I don't know what's going on. Who can say? Oh yeah, and this Bones to Pick episode technically was 2017. We showed it back in 2016, but that was just easier for organization. So now we have the double ears for Fangons, where they got the big one and the small one. This was when we finally let go of we do not have to be super original, that the ears are fucking ridiculously complicated, let's just give them 2. So that's when that comes about. And this is kind of a preliminary, how Bonehill's beast form in the comic now, chapter 1, where he gets the glowing glyphs and stuff. That's kind of where this starts. We're kind of trying to figure it out. It's not really glyphs, it's just kind of lines, but kind of that idea. It was kind of formalized. This one's a fun one. This is when this is a drawn interaction for me and Bonehill. We got back into officially role playing back on the forums we liked, and this was a situation where someone tried flirting with both of us, and our go-to thing, if someone flirted with us, we would pretend we were married, which is so funny. I wonder why we did that, or felt the need to so often. Not that it happened often, but that was always our game plan, and then we actually initiated it. So this is us just staring. Bonehill's about to speak, and I'm like, we're married. And I just grab his hand. He just looks at me, and I'm just panicking, please go along with it. I don't know what to do. And he goes, apologies, my husband's very defensive. And I'm like, hey, don't have to do me like that. My God. But very funny. This is a very sweet 2017 moment. Now, drawing of Ultika. This is kind of the only one, sad face. Only drawing of Ultika we have from this year, I think. At least that's the only one Bonehill could find. There might be traditional drawing ones, because there was a lot of traditional drawings because of school. That's kind of where author could draw the most. But anyway, this was, I think, for Inktober, so it was black and white. She still has the pure white skin and white hair, so that hasn't changed quite yet. This is where she gets, I think, the scar on her head officially. I don't think she had it in yeah, she didn't have it in 2016 because she lives. I think 2017. She must have been alive by this point because the accident that gave her that scar in the 2016 story that ended her. Effectively, that was it. So she never had a scar because she wasn't there to have a scar. But now she lives from the incident, so she's just got this gnarly scar on her head, and that's where that starts, which is very badass and very cool. And Bonehill gets his horns. Fucking finally. I've been begging. But yeah, my horns are just so fucking small, which is funny. And this is, we've brought this up. I'm not going to talk too much because, yeah, we do need to rest our voice. I can feel the throat already being like, shut up. Your voice is too low. But it's a big thing where, like, if we change anything about our appearance, it starts out very small. So never leave my horns are itty bitty baby. Like, this is what I would have horns as, like, a preteen maybe, or maybe teenager, like, wee little things. Like, I have, like, little nubbins, I think, starting, like, when I'm, like, 9 years old. Technically, Fangons, kind of when they start coming in. So these are baby horns. Now I have massive horns, and I just want them bigger every day. Every day I'm like, Author, can they, I'm just begging Author to give me just a massive, like, just horns and hair and nose. Like, I just want to be just gigantic, apparently. And I will bother them every day. But I'm very happy. It's also just a fun expression sheet, pretty accurate. Zerako, what the fuck, OMG. Love this face. This is just my still amused face with my husband, whom I love so much. Returning to days. Please, I want to be 13 feet tall again. Get me back there. No, oh my god. Yeah, the 13 feet thing, too, was a very, like, Author just all of us did not have a good conception of heights. Like, technically, imagining, like, how I imagined myself in roleplays or talking to people, I was not 13 feet tall. I was maybe 7 or 8 feet tall, or something at tallest. But we were like, I don't know, 13, that's close enough. But man, give me some stilts. Let me just be even more massively tall to bother everybody. Okay, I'm gonna give the mic back to Zerako. Yeah, I love the horns. To be fair, the horns too also made Bonehill's hair easier to draw. That was a big thing. His bangs were really hard for Author to draw back in 2016. It was just hard to kind of get the shape right or whatever else, so just kind of having basically giant chunks of his bangs just not in the picture just made it way easier. So the horns were a good addition all around. What do we have next? Oh, cute picture of Author and Bonehill. This is a thing Author would, like, draw IRL, what was it, like IRL, I don't know, selfies, I don't know, character selfies, I don't remember what we called them exactly, but it's very cute. I don't think Author did do one of me. I think Bonehill's got that in here. Hopefully. If not, it's on the Instagram, I'm sure. It's like a 2018 one. This is very cute. Author did do this for a little bit, and honestly, we should do it again. We just haven't. But we loved doing these for the short while that we did. Look at Bonehill's baby horns. They're so small. They're very cute. Very sweet. A very cool picture. This is just a very cool picture of Author and all the trees in the background. Very swag. We love to see it. And now we are on to 2018. Bad news, Author gets fibromyalgia. Shit. But we get the sloth sona, which is pretty cool. And it is. So, to be fair, it's at the end of 2018 that Author gets a sloth sona, but the sloth sona and the fibromyalgia are, like, very connected, because this is when Author gets their special interest in sloths. So this is what their sloth and sona looked like at first. Very good. Very good sloth drawings. Very sweet. And yeah, that was, fibromyalgia symptoms were building up ever since 9th grade, the big, trauma catalyst year. Just like year by year, just more symptoms were just kind of like, oh, here's another one, and then it wasn't until we had a really stressful day, a migraine that sent us to urgent care because it was so bad, and then after that migraine, just the whole full-blown just list of fibromyalgia symptoms you can have just all at once, congrats, and it wasn't going away. Thankfully we got diagnosed, in the middle of 2018, so it didn't, like, take us years, especially because we researched it, and we, like, went to the rheumatologist, like, here's my 500-page essay on why I probably have fibromyalgia, and he was like, shit, yeah, yeah, you do. So that's just, brief chronic illness, journey there. Obviously, still have it, still impacts our life, it impacts our life differently, because there's some things we've been able to improve, a lot of things have gotten worse, like migraines, thank God, those are super under control. Thanks to new meds in the migraine field, thank fuck. But that's a whole thing. Fibromyalgia affects me and Bonehill too. The only difference is if I'm fronting, I don't notice the symptoms because I'm not paying attention. I'm not as bodily aware as the other two are. My ADHD is able to focus away from it long enough that I can do things longer. It just will absolutely hit us later, sort of thing. So that's also an interesting point in all of this. Oh yeah, here's me. So here's my ref from 2018. I'm still kind of stocky, still kind of more broad than I am. I'm more of a noodle boy now because I am 6'1". I am kind of like noodle shaggy boy energy, but I have that lean shonen protag kind of muscles, kind of my image. This is not quite it yet, but we're trying to get there. Got my orange dips. This is orange tongue. This is when I get the eyes. I don't think I had these in 2016 or. Maybe not even 2017. I'm not sure. We don't have art of it. So here you go. I got my dragon eyes. Very, very cute little chibi. I love it. This is also when I just don't have pants yet. I'm just in my undies, and that's just because, the pants are hard to draw. We just couldn't draw the baggy pants I wanted, which is what I have now. Those are the baggy pants I always wanted to have. We just didn't know how to do it, so I'm just in my undies, running around. I love this. No longer part Sakura / bullied for being a hybrid. Now I'm just bullied normally. And it's true. Technically still bullied in my backstory, just different reasons. Mostly. At least not related to that, but there's some similarities. To orange. Tunyoi is orange now. This was also partly done because, as we looked in the main cast in 2017, it's like, wow, Zerako's the only warm-colored person. Everyone else is just blue. So it's like, we should balance that out more. It was almost going to be a story element where it's like, oh, maybe I don't know, as everyone either warms up to Zerako or becomes closer with him, they get more, warm colors, maybe that could be a story element. No, we didn't want to do that. That would work. That would totally work. We didn't really want to do it. And either way, mixing, this is also when we realized, ooh, with cyan, with the golden yellow oranges, ooga booga. Again, this is Arroway's colors. We learned we love this color pairing a ton, so we were like, oh, this is cool as shit. We're doing it now. No character development for you. You are orange today. Still has the cowl covering her mouth. Still, very short, curly hair. She doesn't get the big poof, almost like a mohawk mullet thing they got going on. That's honestly when we started. It was after the first episode author drew them in that we changed that. It's really recent, Tunyoi, for that hair change, but it was needed because it fits them way better. Very cute. Also, tooth gap. By the way, the tooth gap inspiration came from author because author had a tooth gap for a while because they had a baby tooth that was there until they were 15, and they were like, you just shouldn't have that. Where's your adult tooth? It just wasn't coming down, so it needed help. So for a while, author had a tooth gap. It's now filled because now we have the adult tooth, though we really loved the tooth gap look. It wasn't ever an insecurity. We loved it. We thought it was cute as hell. So we gave it to Tunyoi so it would live on somewhere. So that's why Tunyoi has a tooth gap. It is missing one of her right or left fangs. So it has to be behind the tooth gap. Then we got Muroko, who's shorter. I think this is definitely when he becomes more 5'6", 5'5". One of those. Again, not totally sure. Maybe the height chart has more specifics, but yeah, he doesn't become 5 foot until I think a couple of years ago, honestly. So it takes, but he looks like he'd be 5 foot. He looks very stocky and short. And again, that's just we're learning proportions. Even I look really stocky for someone who's 6'1". So very cute. It's also when he gets purple. Oh, that's the big thing. This is when he's no longer that really this vibrant that saturated indigo. He's finally purple. He's very, very Arroway's flag. This is also when his armor becomes solidified. Same armor we see him in today, just this little cowl is also black. It's much more detailed. Technically, this is what his armor would look like. It's just absolutely not how the author's going to draw it, because that takes way too long to do. He's already takes a little longer to color, so no. Pretend this is what it looks like all the time. Tongue also is purple. And I guess this is when his fire was blue-violet. We were still figuring out Savani lore and stuff, so that was still being... So we didn't have a red anything yet. Who knows what the fuck's going on with his hair. And that's the fun thing about Muroko, is you're gonna notice his hair is... kind of stays fucked up all the time. It doesn't ever change from being fucking wild. It's not. It stays virtually the same beyond he doesn't have, the horns that he, kind of had... I think through 2016. I think by 2016, that's when he loses, the horn spikes or whatever. Otherwise, it's practically the same. It's just we were able to draw hair better, or author was. So it's also just interesting fact. Like, me and Bonehill's hair has remained fairly similar, but it has like gotten more defined style. Muroko's is just whatever this is. His is making less and less sense, and I love that for him. We just can't change it. It's just he just has that hair forever. Bonehill, why is he thick as a cake of bricks? Look at my man's. This man's is a wall. I love that for him. Also very good Bonehill face, even though he doesn't have his thick eyebrows and that will bother him. Still very good. I think this is finally when he gets like a black tongue. I don't think he had that before. I don't remember. This is when this is a thing. I want to say it's a bow Fangon thing, like to this day. Otherwise, yeah, he's just still really thick. And we're gonna notice he starts losing that. You can definitely tell in the comic he's lean, pretty lean and thin. And that is also, as I've stated previously, we're going to see how Bonehill is starting to relinquish more and more caretaker stuff to me, and so we're more balanced and equal and kind of just letting himself let go of not having to be the sole person keeping shit together. So basically him losing muscle is kind of a demonstration of that, which is very interesting thing to note. But not now. Not now. My man's could punch God. Good lord. And Ultika is way more closer to how we know her today. And she's alive. We love that.
Yay!
She's alive!
I'm alive again!
Love it. In fact, yeah, I think this is when Ultika gets brown skin. So this is like the same drawing, but like this happened just this year. Which is nice. This is me after I burped fire in her face. So she's sticking her tongue out at me. She's not trying to like lick me or anything. She's just goofing. So here we go. Here was her kind of ref from. She didn't have like an official ref, I don't think, on Art Fight quite yet. I think it was just kind of haphazard ref, but this is way closer to the Ultika we know today. Very buff. She doesn't have like the buff and chunk, as she kind of has that balance of like fat and muscle that she has like now. It's just all pure muscle, so that'll start to change as well as we're just authors just learning how to draw body types. That's kind of the transition we're noticing. But very cool. Here's the next. This is the me doll. We have because we really like this doll, we have added some facial hair to it now. It's hanging out over beside me actually. This is one of our favorite Zerako dolls. That have the fully brushed out hair and everything. He's so soft. He's so nice. Little posable arms. He's adorable. Really love him. Definitely one of our favorites. He's harder to take around just because his hair gets messed up all the time. So we don't usually like take him out anywhere. That's why I have like my more sturdy doll that author made of me. But still, this is definitely one of we love this one. Author loves this one. He's fucking adorable. Definitely one of the best dolls we've made. In my humble opinion, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased. This is a really funny Valentine's Day thing. So me and Bonehill like joked like, oh yeah, we're like husbands already. Effectively, we are not like officially like a queer platonic couple, right? We're still very platonic. We haven't, and we're still not technically like we kind of joke we're husbands, but we don't like make it official that we're committed to each other quite yet. Like Shavu's still in the story. He's technically my love interest and everything. Bonehill and I are just best buds, so that's still a thing. So this is just kind of a funny, like, Valentine's thing of let me taco about my love for you, Valentine. This was not supposed to be a response, by the way. This was just supposed to be Bonehill's own separate Valentine's Day card, but it worked as a response so well. It's just so funny. We're just like, no. Finger guns. And I fucking love that. It's so cute. This is just cute in general. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, even today, as the couple we are, he would still do this, and I support it. It's so funny. But yeah, so that's kind of where we are in our relationship quite yet. We're not really questioning anything. We're just kind of vibing. Again, I still think my ass is bi. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. And we got some doodles of Ultika. Starting to get a little wider, but still pretty similar to her ref. These are just really good like pictures of just really good drawings of her. Press X to doubt. He's just great. There's a lot of sketches from this era. This is what Bonehill just kept finding. He just kept finding more and more and screaming because there's just so much to add. So here we have a really cute one of like more accurate Bonehill through the ages. Now he has this really long mane of hair. This is what we saw in the Q&A episode, How We Met. This is pretty accurate, except bigger eyebrows and angrier. But this is kind of where he becomes just a feral devil child. To be fair, he was in 2016 too. Just it's amplified now. Preteen, his hair gets cut. I think that's still a thing. Because I think his hair had to get cut because it was just a mess. And to be fair, he's still a devil child. This is a bit more of a mild Bonehill. He's still devil. This is teen, still accurate. He still has a half ponytail. This is still what he does. He grows it out again. This is just another drawing of preteen him being kind of a snob. That's kind of accurate, or being like an intellectual snob. I'm better than you. Sort of a rebel child. So this is back when in the story we technically had a 5-year age gap. Again, we're not quite seen as equals yet, even outside of the story, just as caretakers, right? So this is still a bit of a discrepancy here. So this is like Bonehill trying to protect me. Also, very very representative of the caretaker roles, kind of how we're feeling there. But still very, very cute drawing, very good drawing. Author's traditional doodles are like really nice. This is also really cute. So if you guys remember the Rinmaru like cute thing of like if only Bonehill and Zerako had like a good relationship with each other. This was us kind of this is author kind of reimagining that as a drawing, which we want to redraw again. Especially because I give Bonehill piggyback rides a lot. But yeah, this is just still super cute. Like I love Bonehill's face, and it's just adorable. It's just we just love it. And then us sleeping, this is still 100% accurate. 100% where I snuggle up, I bundle, and my man's is just like drooling and just sprawled. Like this is 100% how we still sleep. It is fantastic. Technically, I'm the big spoon because of this, so I just like kind of like grab him and encase him like a fucking those. Sorry, I just bumped the mic, but like one of those the plants that have like they eat. Like the plants that kind of close their jaws around like an insect, like those fucking things. I do that. I just like grab him and encase him, and he's just like kind of sprawled out, like he's trying to escape. It's kind of funny. He's not actually trying to escape. He just poses funny when he sleeps. But yeah, my nose is so tiny here, which I find funny. It's also a funny thing. Our noses are fairly like really small. Like they don't get big until the comic later on, which is funny. My ears are big though. This is kind of the size that we're looking at. But still just love this. Even though Bonehill's beefy as fuck, this is still pretty accurate otherwise. Let's see. Oh, this is funny. It's just Thanksgiving. So we had elemental turkeys. We love to imagine that. So I have a fire turkey. He has an ice turkey. We did this because this is the first year that author went vegan. And so their sister made us a vegan Thanksgiving because their sister was the one that introduced them to vegan stuff. So we're like, oh, let's have little turkey friends for like a Thanksgiving thing. And then my turkey just like shoots a fire at Bonehill, and we just get this beautiful shot of him just like, I just love this face. just like he would have like 3,000 chins with how much he's like receding into his neck. You just can't quite see it, but it's beautiful. This is a really fun one. I think author drew this in like the middle of a night because they were having like a bad reaction to like a med, so they just needed a distraction. So we just came up with this. So it means a lot to us. It's just a fun drawing, a good escape. Let's see. Also good drawing. This one's still like really good. Like me hissing. Like I don't know if we could draw this. Like we could draw this again. We'd have to just heavily reference because this like if you were to draw a real person hissing like a cat, this is kind of how you would do it. Like this is still pretty good, and I would still hiss. I 100% still like the dragon speak has not left my DP body. I will hiss and growl at you. To be fair, I think we all like do the growl hissing stuff because we're all like we still have those animalistic traits from the old days. I like to think.
Are you ready?
But yeah, here's him. Yeah, here's me hissing. Who am I saying? Him. Tiny nose. My beautiful husband and his faces, still really good faces, and he's just thick. So this is just like just round, blocky. It's just like so like. This is not him anymore. Let me tell you, that's not my man's today. But still really good expressions. Author's really starting to get those down. Especially with Bonehill, who's always been notoriously like difficult to draw, but like we're getting there. Just some cute drawings of me. This one's kind of hard to see. This is me kind of slumped on a table, and Bonehill's just kind of resting his head on top of mine, kind of comforting me when I'm just being huffy. I don't know what it is about, but I am. Cute head bonk. This is when we start drawing head bonks, I think, more. Oh, look at that. Very cute. These are more doodles that Bonehill found on Instagram stories in the archive, and you're just like, I swear to fuck, why are there more? This is still really good drawing of Muroko being mad, being angry, which is that's on brand for him. He's holding a lot. This is a kind of a redraw of those old drawings where I was shooting. What was it? I was shirtless and just shooting fire out of my hands. I think this is kind of a redraw of that, and honestly, we should redraw it again. But this is still like a pretty good drawing. Very fun. Let's see. Next, we have. And this was we actually included the old drawing here. Here's the one for 2015. We redrew that this year as well. Very, very good Bonehill face. Very broad, person, but that's still pretty good. Page unresponsive. I was gonna say, don't crash on me right now. I'm doing shit. Oh no, I'm disconnected? Shit. The internet go out? Oh. Alright, hold on. Whoopsie-doops. Now it's just me and the people listening to the recording. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Potentially either skipping ahead or listening while you do your art or you cook. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I hope you continue to have fantastic days. Best days of your life. Or tolerable days of your life. The best tolerable days of your life. We're simply vibing. Having a good old time. Internet, come back to me. Please, why are you taking so fucking long? Why'd the internet go out? Please come back. I swear to God, if there's like an outage. Okay, I think it's coming back. There's an outage. This is the worst timing. I guess it's not the worst, but it ain't the best. It really ain't the best. Baby, come back, butter. Okay, yeah, starting to come back. It's just taking a while. Oh my God. You can blame it all on me. I was wrong. I just can't live without you. Butter. Baby, come back, butter. Anyway, author's making really cute dragons for a fun Halloween event. And there's a really cute, imagine you're seeing a really cute little dark brown dragon with fiery colors, and he's sitting upright and he has tiny nub arms. Imagine you're seeing that, because that's what I'm looking at, and he's very cute. He's a baby. I love him dearly. Really funny if I could just like turn on the camera and like show you, but I'm not dressed as myself, so I get a little insecure at that. But just I'll describe it to the best of my ability. He's got tiny little nubby horns and like big fat eyebrows. He's got a big mane. It's very bumpy and fun to like run your fingers on. Very textured. He's very textured. He's got tiny little dark orange wings. Little tiny, very floppy ears, like a little puppy. Like a cocker spaniel? Is that what it is? Little floppy ears. Big little black eyes. He just sits. He sits down. He's nice to hold. You can cradle him. He's perfect for everything. I think they're making a water dragon right now. It's blue. It's got all the blues. Looks like the sea. Alright, internet's almost back. Come back to me for I'm just doing like a fucking audiobook like transcription of the things around me while I wait. We got Bonehill's Korok plushie. The author made fun fact that relates to nothing. Bonehill loves Koroks from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Loves Koroks. You think me and author would? We do. But Bonehill is obsessed. He loves them so fucking much. Like, he's a very like protect the Koroks, stop making crimes against them kind of like guy. He adores these dudes. It's precious. He's the Korok guy. So he's got a little Korok plush author made for him called Grunkus Funkus Dunkus or some shit. The name changes, but I think that's what it is. He's got a stick he's holding. It's actually, I think, part of like a garlic scape from the garden. But that's what he has. Oh, internet's back. Hey! Oh, I think we're back. Oh, are we back? Can you hear us? I don't know if anyone else is here. It might just be me. Baby, come back. You can blame it. Okay, why is the iPad not connected? Alright, hold on. You should not be having problems. The internet is back, you fool. Get back on there. Come on. That's what I'm looking at the chat on. Yeah. Oh, connecting. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, at least I got that. Artie, you're back. Yay! All right. Are we all good? You can hear us? Okay. Everything vibing. Swag. All right. Cool. I was just sitting here talking to the people listening to the recording about the random crocheted plushies I have surrounding me right now. I was just doing like an audio transcription. Artist rendition of Zerako the Piranha Plant. Oh my god, I gotta look at that in a second. I gotta keep going. Now we might be a little tight on time, but we might be fine. We'll find out. But anyway, this is a very nice art piece. Hold on, I gotta blow my nose. God damn it. Yeah, we just got a snot bubble lodged real up your nose. I hate it. Anyway. This is a big art piece. I say a big art piece. It's just an art piece that meant a lot to us. It's just a very fun where this is the kind of stuff I would just rattle off random shit ideas to Bonehill. Like, okay, but consider giant taco burritos. He's like, that doesn't make sense, but okay. Sort of thing. And his hand's in my hair and it's cute. The hands are like really good here. This is kind of when authors like really getting a good grasp on shading. I think this is when we were starting to use overlay layers. I think 2018 is when that happened. I think. Could be wrong. Overlay layers over like the shading and stuff with like gradients. I think it's hard to tell because the shading's much more soft than it is now. But very fun. Also like playing around with speech bubbles. We had different fonts. Obviously we didn't really keep that for the comic because no patience for that. But very fun. Very sweet drawing. Definitely want to redraw this. This is like really due for a redraw. We never redrew it for some reason, but we should. Again, still platonic. We're still fine with that. We don't quite question it. Technically in 2015 means we're shipping our asses, so it's like there were things that kind of made us question. Like there'd be characters in comics that'd be really similar to me in Bonehill where it'd be like, oh my god, we ship it. Wait. But we just wouldn't really think that far about it. And it's like we're really close. Like we always knew that. Like, oh, I like to cuddle with this guy. I love this guy. Maybe I'll give him a smooch on the head. Like, we just didn't think that far about it. We didn't have to. But soon we are going to start questioning at least a little bit, especially on my end, with the A-spec stuff. But anyway, we're not there yet. Here's a nice drawing of Tunyoi with the cowl down. This is kind of when they start losing the cowl a little bit. Because let's be real, we really wanted to show off the toothed gap and their expressions. Like, having the cowl in the way just doesn't really fit Tunyoi's personality also, and how they were kind of developing into the chaos lord that they are. But still very cute. Muroko, of course, our son. Grumpy son. Cute art fight banner drawing of me and Bonehill playing with paint. Very, I love me laughing. This is cute. Kind of referencing Paint Face in a way, that Bones to Pick episode. Very cute drawing of me and Bonehill. I think this was like a thank you for drawing us for like a featured character game on Discord or something related to that. This is also when I had more of a crooked smile, like literally like really crooked smile. I still smile kind of crooked, but not quite to this extreme. But I don't know. This is also cute. This is us in D&D, so you'll notice our ears are much different, a little bit anyway. Like mine are just smaller, and his are just kind of more elf-like. So this is us in D&D, because in 2017. Author in quotes started playing me in D&D. In real life, I think it was mainly me fronting, so I'm very, like, I have some source trauma from D&D stuff happening, which is fine. Like, all those people we played with are all our friends, even, the DM especially, so, like, that is all fine and good. I don't have any, like, qualms over that, but that is, like, a thing where I'm like, I think I was definitely, like, present for D&D, and we didn't realize until, I think, 2021. But yeah, still, D&D, still a lot of good memories from D&D, and Bonehill technically wasn't, like, played as much, per se, because it was mainly, like, me in the campaign. He was kind of more of, like, in the side, campaign alongside, but we would, like, write letters to each other, because we were, in different, mercenary parties, which now is, like, we are inseparable. If we weren't in the same party, we would shit and cry. We would just not be able to do it. we were always kind of sad that we couldn't like travel together and stuff, even though like we're still in the same story, we live in the same mindscape. That's not a problem. It was still just sad. We wanted to travel together. And then we have Epic Bonehill. So like my epic like Zerako drawings. Like we have a redraw next here with like the please. There we go. So like this the epic Zerako one. So this is Bonehill's first rendition of his own like epic Bonehill like series, which didn't really go very far. I think there's only like 2 drawings in that series, but still, like this is when this is still a horn shading technique author uses to this day, with the I think it's like a transparent watercolor brush, just kind of splotching it on and like making that nice little shine. Still use that to this day because it's really cool, and very fun. This is my man's. He's just very cool. And then we have, again, me. This is the next redraw in that series. This is when my freckles glow. This is the first time that actually becomes a thing. Again, they're so tiny. They look like little stars, which is cool. But I do like how they're big now. And also just interesting how we're now like fully committing to the shell shading, self shading. Like you can tell, like 2016, we're still kind of painterly. Like we're kind of like author's art's kind of transitioning from the painterly to the much more like sharp lines and stuff, and this is kind of where that starts happening. I think like in particular this cell shading was like when it was really kicking in. Very cool, very fun. Here's more blog post drawings. I think this was is this how to finish your story? I thought there was another one. What is this one about? I don't remember. I know there's 2 more that are like story plot related, and I don't remember what this one was exactly, but maybe this is how to start your story? Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. That might be what it is. Anyway, so me and Bonehill, so Tunyoi just like dangling out. Muroko's just this sad sack of potatoes. Like he's just sagging. It's just like, oh, cute little Shabu. This is me trying to like grab onto like author's foot. Like it's just cute. Bonehill's just vibing. Tunyoi's just having a time. Muroko's not having a time. Muroko doesn't want to be here. And you know what? I support that. Let's see. So then this one, I'm eating the paper. Muroko's yelling at me. That is, Tunyoi's just vibing in the paper. Again, not a chaos gremlin yet, but Bonehill's chilling. He's sleeping. And then there's me and Bonehill dancing. Tunyoi watching. Muroko's not as grumpy. Muroko is not as enraged by existence. Because then this is the next part. So this is like, I think this is how to finish your story. I think is what this one was. So now we're not the little chibies anymore. We're actually full grown people. This was like author being like, okay, where do you guys want to go? Because again, we are unfortunately real people. I say unfortunately. It's just like, didn't realize we're real people. But this is just character things to do. You just ask your characters what they want to do in the story, only. And you don't write yourself necessarily. They're just kind of taking the lead. That's kind of what this is unintentionally representing. Anyway, I'm like, let's go to Taco Bell. Story goal, get to Taco Bell. That's all I want to do. I do love Taco Bell. I was obsessed with it, actually, back in 2014. I always loved tacos since 2014. But I do like making my own more, especially because we're vegan. I kind of have to. There's only so much you can do at Taco Bell. Especially when I want, like, TVP meat. And anyway, and Bonehill's like, Taco Bell's 5 minutes away, buddy. Like, that's gonna be the shortest ass story ever. Tunyoi is trying to see the map and just can't, because everyone's tall. Tunyoi's tall too, but not as much as we are. And Muroko's like, can we just not go anywhere? Which is very Muroko core. And poor Shavu is blind, can't see the map. Literally, like, Shavu was blind, I think, for majority of his character. And this is one of our friends, shout out to Sarah, where we're like, hey Sarah, can you help us decide where we should go? And I'm being dragged off stage like, Taco Bell! And Tunyoi's finally trying to look at the map. I love this. And then we got all of us in the car. We're going on a road trip that's like, representing us going off in the story. Author goes, alright, this trip is going to be a long trip. Everybody got enough snacks and took a bathroom break. And I'm like, all set and ready to go, Captain. And so they're like, alright, we're taking off. And this, I think we got Muroko in the back here, Tunyoi in the back, Bonehill's next to me. It's just kind of hard to see. Pause for a moment. And I actually still need to use the bathroom. The author's like, Zerako, I literally told you 20 times to use it before we left. I know, and I didn't. I thought I went. But yeah, it's a funny little goof. And then we have the first ever comic pages. This is cool. So back in 2018, remember, we don't start drawing I say remember, like we told you, we don't start drawing like the official comic pages until very early 2020, maybe like the end of 2019, like very end. But basically, very beginning of 2020. So this is towards the end of 2018. This is like fall of 2018. This is actually, we have side-by-side comparisons. Like here's the 2020 comic version, then here's 2018. So like the storyboards are really similar. So you'll notice I haven't been talking about the story much yet, and that's mainly because not a lot is changing. Like obviously the 2016 story is not really as canon anymore because the whole world building changed in 2017. But it's fairly similar to the comic. In 2019, I'm really going to get into what it was very prominently. Cause this is when we start writing it in 2019, and it doesn't actually start like really changing until we kind of start the comic. Funny enough, so it's still kind of similar story beats, right? Obviously, we're not quite like especially husbands, like husbands yet or anything. So like maybe a background here, so like the author's trying to figure out like there was more. There was like a big like back job of like our whole like big ass like this pile of boxes apartment complex. And then we get a shot of our window, and then here we are. So this was side by side. Here's how it was kind of imagined. I was more hunched over. I think I was like on my bed over here, and I was about to launch myself at him, or something like that. This is also, you'll notice, this is not webtoon format. This is more traditional comic page format as well, and that's because that's what we were doing. We were much more familiar with traditional comics, but funny enough, even though we were more familiar with traditional comic like page format, we like. Oh, sorry. Like the webtoon mobile format, was just way easier to grasp. And to be fair, there's a lot less like composition with the panels and how they flow into each other. I wouldn't say less, but it's a little easier to flow through than it is, I think, in traditional. I don't know. I just know it worked easier with our brain, so I kind of had to like splice these, or we had to splice these a little bit to make it line up the same. But very similar, like a shot of me going wake, and then I got like like my foot up and everything. It's really kind of cool to see like even the storyboard, like the pose itself is really similar, but like how much we like author was really able to like bring the dynamicness to it. Like before you could not see my like thighs, like there's just you can't see my leg, so it looks a little awkward and then less full of motion. Like here, like I look like I'm about to like just ram this man into hell. Like I'm about to shove him through every single apartment complex. So it's really cool. Like we're still really proud of this pose. Like this is still like good. Like I think the only thing was like maybe the expression of the mouth might be drawn like a little bit differently now, but like otherwise shit slaps. I don't know. But it's just very cool. Like back in 2018 we had very similar vision for certain things. And that is swag. But we didn't start the comic. That was like as far as we got. So I have Christmas redraw. Just very cute. Kind of a redraw almost of the very, very first one in 2014. 2014. Where it looks like I'm laughing, Bonehill smiling. We kind of like expanded on that, where it's like Bonehill was probably tickling me, and that's why I was smiling in the old one. So that's what he's doing here, and it's very funny. I am ticklish. Technically, Bonehill is ticklish in the sense of if you tickle him, his fight or flight kicks in, and he won't laugh. He'll just grab your arm and start twisting so you stop. Like instinctual kill drive gets like activated. So don't tickle him. We don't do that. We don't want the man to kill anyone or himself. In that kind of mode, because not everyone likes to be tickled. But I usually don't care. But yeah, this is where we decorate his horns, which is very fun with little lights. Very cute. And then we have. Kid Zerako redraw. So this is the next one in the lineup. I think the next one is 2021 or 2. I think 2022. Gotta take more Tums. Good heavens. So we're trying to figure out fire. Step by step. Sorry, one moment. Alright. Start figuring out fire better. The shading is way more like dramatic. Very fun. It's not as like colorful yet. I think we're still kind of playing with overlays, but not as much. You can see like a couple like more red areas with the overlays. So, oh goodness. So we're not quite there yet, but still, we got more almost flat kind of 2D fire. You're gonna see just a lot of versions of fire. Unlike how it wants to be drawn. It's very, very interesting. And then here's just a fun, I think the kid redraw was probably supposed to be further up, but here's another Christmas one from 2018 where I'm just in a Santa suit and I'm like, ho ho, Merry Christmas. Bonehill pokes me, he's like, is this foam? And I'm like, don't poke Santa. He's got a Merry Crisis mug, it's very beautiful, he looks so fucking tired. It's just very funny. And then we got 2019. So this is where shit starts picking up, because obviously this is a year before the comic, so we're starting to get somewhere. Let's see. So yeah, so what if we were husbands? We love saying husbands and butchering it. It's just our favorite in-joke. But yeah, so this is literally right away in 2019. This is January 2019. We have like our first kiss scene drawn. Literally right away in 2019, Zerako gets a goatee and a husband. What the fuck? Yeah, my chin scruff actually becomes a thing too. You'll notice I didn't have that before. Now I do. I never had it before because it made me look way more older than I thought I was, and that was just because we weren't able to draw it right yet, but now we are. So this is when we actually do start questioning things and get a little bit confused, because we didn't know the term queer platonic, I don't think, quite yet, and it was a little less that we were, like, for a few months we were kind of confused on, like, our relationship, but it mainly became a point of how do we describe our relationship to everybody else, is what it came down to, because we also weren't, familiar with the wide range of queer platonic relationships that can exist, especially in the A-spec realm. Like, anything can exist, let's be real, like, you can have any relationship you want at the end of the day, as long as it's healthy and good for everybody. But we weren't quite sure of that yet. Me and Author don't know we're A-spec yet. Like, I still don't know shit. I just know I like to be with Bonehill and I like the guy. So we weren't sure what to do with that. But eventually, I think halfway through 2019, we just kind of went, shit, we're just husbands. Let's just fuck any label for right now. We're just husbands, not platonic and not romantic. Neither sound good, but we are husbands. This is also an art fight where, like, our character permissions were like, you can draw us, like, kind of romantically, and we got just really cute art of us, like, head bonking that were really sweet, and that was kind of confirming, like, yeah, we like this, like, just, like, really, like, solidifying, because we were nervous, too, of, like, we don't want to come out as a couple and then be like, oh, we're not a couple, right? Like, I think that's why we were so anxious about how we wanted to present ourselves to others, because we didn't want to, get anyone, like, excited, and then realize that just kidding, taking it back, like, right, like, especially because, from Author's perspective, it just looked like we were, like, hopping between the line of platonic and romantic. Like, we were fucking, like, doing the cha-cha slide. Like, Zay could not keep up and know what we were doing, and we didn't fucking know what we were doing either. Especially because, like, for a while, we were always kind of on and off about kissing, and then in 2021, we realized kisses are wet. Dead ass. Did not know that until 2021, that kisses involve the mouth and at least some saliva. This just never registered, and that's a autistic ick. That's an autistic sensory no. We hate it. So this is still a sweet picture. We're not grossed out by this per se. This is just a nice peck. It's very sweet, very nice hug. But there's a reason why we don't see mouth-to-mouth kisses from me and Bonehill hardly at all. We much prefer just, like, kisses either on the cheek or the head, especially because the hair kind of buffers any gross from it. It's usually, like, Bonehill giving me kisses. I'm the one that prefers that usually. Anyway, that's just stuff we slowly figure out over time. But yeah, so 2019 was finally the big, like, what are we? And this is, of course, Shavu's part in the story kind of becomes less, because really all he was kind of there for was my love interest, but obviously I would like to be with someone real. Which just sounds, I don't know, mean, but it's just like, it's kind of true. That's kind of the vibe. So yeah, so this is kind of when that starts happening. So, like, we even spent, like, Valentine's Day together. Like, Author, like, went to, like, the grocery store just, like, with some family members, just because they were just walking in the snow, and so me and Bonehill were looking at the Valentine's Day stuff, and that was fun. And, like, it was, like, a snow day, like, out in, like, Seattle, which was, like, huge. You do not get snow days in Seattle. You don't get that shit. But that was, like, really fun. So that was, like, a snow day for me and Bonehill to kind of hang out and, just kind of enjoy being with each other, whatever that meant. But yeah, and now I become 24, which felt much more age accurate, because also as Author gets older, we're getting older, and we're realizing that how ages work and what felt more accurate to us. So I went from 23, 24, and that 24 is kind of where I stood. Watch me just keep going higher in age. Watches just keep getting older. Bonehill's stayed like 25, I think, his whole life, in technicalities. And now we're feeling more like equals. Like, this is when that, we start being more equal caretakers. There's not any dramatic drama happening. I think that's also kind of key. The fibromyalgia kind of was, but it's not causing any drastic changes as a lot of the other stuff did, where it's like, suddenly there's a role change. You're like, whoa, like, Bonehill's mad at me. For just, for whatever reason. But still, those are gradual. Once we hit 2020, then we actually start shit going down. But at the moment, figuring shit out, right? That's 2019 for you. So we have this Valentine's Day comic, which is where I say Palantine. So we're still, excuse me, I did not click on you. We're still figuring out. Okay, I had to make sure we're still recording. I panicked for a second. Where I was like, let me talk about my love for you, Palantine. So, we were still not sure what to call the relationship. And this Bonehill just says, how about we talk about the suit you haven't washed in 5 years. And I'm like, don't do me like this. It's just very funny. It's just very, very sweet and cute. Just change it to Valentine, and this is still canon. I will never wash the taco suit. I'm kidding, I would. I don't have one. IRL, but And this is where we get Sloth of Life. So both webtoons in Tapas, folks you may or may not know or have seen Sloth of Life. This was author's last slice of life comic that they ever did. This was about living with fibromyalgia. This is where their Sloth Sona gets their big debut. Me and Bonehill up here in it, because we're just silly little characters in author's head doing silly things. Sure we are. Clearly the caretaker alters, but anyway, let's scoot over there. We'll look at a couple of basically the episodes that me and Bonehill are in, because that's kind of the main ones to look at. Here we go. Someone remind me to to click back to the drive. Hopefully I remember. Alright, so who are you guys? Oh, us? We're author's main characters of author's adventure webcomic she wants to make. That's me. There's author's little so nice smack Bonehill in the face. Bonehill says, but since that hasn't happened yet, we've been waiting for several years now, we've adapted to new roles in their mindscape. I'm Zerako, their emotional moral support. This is just cute. My nose is so dinky. This is still a very fun drawing. And I'm Bonehill, the logical note-taker that also gives her needless crap because I've been here the longest and I do what I want. I'm like, you're the worst. He's like, no, you. This is a cute banter. This is not actually genuine, anger. Remember to put away the blender and coffee maker, you old lady. Very accurate how Bonehill and author interact. There are other characters too, but we've grown up with author the longest, so they're imaginary friends. We say it right there. But no, we're just silly characters. We're right there, man. It's right there. This is just so funny. And Bonehill goes, say don't get out much. I'm like, let them live. It's just so funny. And I mean, it's true. I mean, hey, the neurodivergent social isolation in early childhood fucks them up. We were kind of here because of that, partly. But, so this is just, oh my god, it's just funny. Anyway, this Mindscape is ours. This is a fun one. Where, author's getting bad thoughts, like, you'll never make it, you're needy, you're not doing enough. Then we come in, we notice them, and we're like, oh no, you don't. And we're like, it's really cool. They were like grabbing our speech bubbles, like we're about to use them as a weapon. And Bonehill goes, not in our Mindscape. And just like, oh, cool anime, dramatic lines. Emotional support. It's a smack one. Reality check. Smacks the other. The author gets splooted. It's kind of like Beast, honestly. And I go, this Mindscape is ours. Bonehill says, and stay out. And the author says, here. Very fun. It's also funny that author had the most fun drawing like episodes with us in them than anything. And this was the last one. I think the last episode of Sloth of Life as well, but also the last one we were in. So author goes, before the diagnosis, they were like, I should look for support, chronic illness support groups. But I don't even know what I have. And what if I'm actually not chronically ill and I'm just faking it? Or what if I don't belong there? And the bone just smacks her head into the computer. Just take the support. Which is very cute. And that was the last thing. All right, let me basically, But yeah, so the reason authors stopped this is they made this comic anyway just because they were trying to find like financial independence, and a slice of life comic, especially about like chronic illness, could get basically more popular and do better than just another adventure fantasy like comic. Especially because we didn't really know the A-spec aspect in it that really does make it stand out and more unique as it is. But at the time, Sloth of Life seemed more viable, but due to the school stress trauma that took a lot of time away from author stories, which took away time for me and Bonehill to process our mental shit, our brain will shut down and just burn out of anything that isn't our story if it takes too long to get back to it. Now it's like a really short timer where it's like really hard to do art fight because it's, even though we love it, it's not the comic. Do the comic, draw the comic, or something in relation to that. So that's like a whole thing. So that's partly why Sloth of Life kind of fizzled out. And that's when authors started working on Skull and Pyro instead. Because that one was much more, fulfilling to the brain, what the brain wanted to do. But, we had our moments from it. So now we get into what the story is at this point. And then we'll see how that changes as the comic gets drawn and continued. So chapter 1, as we saw, starts almost the same. Except the conflict is people are turning Savani just into beasts, not having them make beasts for them, which is kind of implied at this point, and about to be confirmed, so it's not like a huge spoiler, but just like they want Savani to make beasts for them. That's kind of the idea. Why? We'll find out in tomorrow's episode. But back then, they were just turning Savani into beasts flat out, which would kill them, because your soul gets crushed out. Beasts can't have souls. So that was a whole thing. So chapter 1 is the same, and we'll even notice that in chapter 1, episode 8, where I have that beast. Oops, sorry, bumped the mic. Where I have that beast bite in my arm. The panel starts getting dramatic, and we see the beast bite start to bubble up and grow as I'm getting like anxious. That was actually referencing this. So this was still a plot point in the beginning of chapter 1, and only changed a bit later. For reasons we're going to find out. Well, fun fact, that's what that comic episode's more so referencing. So in chapter 2, what was actually going to happen is me and Bonehill were going to infiltrate the base like we are now, but Muroko and Tunyoi don't come in until the next chapter. So Muroko and Tunyoi are not even here yet. Muroko is a Savani and everything, but she's just not here. Like, we just didn't make that connection yet. So what actually happens is I would be talking with a captured Savani guard, right? The Savani guard are in the city. They're the ones where I'm like, man, I wish they would promote me to them just so I have that recognition and can get like a better job and just better whatever, sort of thing. So I would actually see a Savani guard member that they captured, and then I would see them turn into a beast, and I would destroy the beast in a bittersweet moment because someone just died in front of me. That sucks. And my story goal becomes, I gotta save everyone. Like, I gotta save other Savani from this. And Bonehill's story goals become, I gotta protect us. And so Bonehill makes a deal with the evil group that's doing this, that he'll help. Keep up the mic. I'm so sorry. He'll help them hunt other Savani down if they let me live. Basically. And we don't see Tunyoi or Muroko until chapter 3, but their intros are pretty similar. Like, the fish scene with Tunyoi, came from 2019. Like, that was a scene we had for a while, because it's just so funny. And Bonehill's actually going to Muroko to get a new sword, because Muroko's still a weaponsmith. He's not a mechanic yet. Yes, our ship is damaged, and we're not doing anything about it. We're not looking at that. That's not real. Sort of thing. So I find out Bonehill's betrayal, that he's killing basically all his other Savani in exchange for my life. I'm like, that's not swag, my dude. I'm so very pissed. I end up being turned into a beast anyway, and Bonehill has to save me, realizing his self-preservation was never going to save us anyway. Again, chapter 1, episode 8 kind of hints at this. So this, alter-wise, because again, the story reflects our mental state, we think is basically the last angst we have processing, where Bonehill is still holding on to being the one protector, protractor? The one protractor to save them all, one caretaker alter, and not feeling like he can fully share the load, and trying to do everything he can himself and not fully confiding in me quite yet. And I'm sure there's still some trust issues I might have had lingering on my end as well. So that's what that was going on. So the story was going to be kind of angsty. People were about to die. Anyway, this is where I get chin scruff. It's so tiny, but you can kind of see it. It is little. It's just because this is where we were like, look, he's changed so much, and it's like a pixel. It's a very small amount, which again, that's on brand. Any new change starts out very tiny, but a very nice picture of me. This is also when I think my face starts getting a little longer. This is where we got fun pictures of my mom back taking care of me. She's still pretty buff. She doesn't have the chonk yet. Where she's trying to figure out how to carry baby me. She's like, there's gotta be a better way to do this. She's like, alright, she finally gets like a baby wrap. She's like, alright, I guess this works. Sort of thing. Which I think this was back when she was more unprepared to have me as a kid. In the current lore, I think she was more prepared and also has like a big support group, which is my aunties, which people in the server might have seen some concept art of them. We'll definitely be seeing them, I think, soon. I have a big group of aunties of my mom's friends that definitely aided raising me in the story, but this is just funny. I just tied on her leg with a rope, and I'm just like, what the hell's going on? You gotta love it. Really cool, epic Tunyoi, epic Muroko. They get their own epic pieces. This is where Tunyoi, I think her powers were kind of getting the glowy, like, cool tattoo-ness. I think this is when this kind of started. Tunyoi starts getting more chaotic and kind of, I don't want to say more evil, but like, Tunyoi is extremely chaotic neutral to an aggressive extent in Muroko. With his currently blue-violet flame. I will not reveal what color his flame may or may not turn into as he develops his powers. We'll have to see, because we also might change it, and I might not know. I might not know shit. It was still like really pretty piece. Like the shading on this is just really good picture, Muroko. And this is Mermaid redraw. So this is the one from 2017. This is the one in 2019. We still really like this piece. It's got more vibrant colors. My reds and like oranges are more prevalent. I think this is really where we get the overlays for shading. I think anyway. I don't know. I'm guessing. It's just a more like cute, like Mother's Day. This is one where I'm tackle hugging Bonehill. This is not my back. This is just like my tank top like billowing out from behind me. It just does look like my back, and it's unfortunate. I swear my back's not doing a whole almost like 90 degrees over here. That's just the tank top. It was just hard to draw. That's okay. So this is back where I could tackle hug Bonehill and he would live another day. That is not the case now. Either he tackle hugs me or I tackle him and pick him up. Like, he would not be able to stand his ground. A cute one where we're eating at a place and I eat very, very messily. And he's like just picking up like my crumbs. Like he just likes eating effectively the leftovers I have on my plate because he doesn't eat a ton. It's like a Fangon biology thing. He just doesn't eat a lot. That's kind of been a thing forever for Fangons. He's handing me a napkin. Very cute. Here we got mini comics. This is finally where we start doing more comic stuff with the characters. So here, let me switch us over to mini comic land. Over here. So this is called SMAD. So Muroko's like, what's a word for when you're mad and sad? And this is based on a Tumblr post. It's just really good drawing of Muroko. Like the line art like picks up in 2019. This shit's good. And so Bono starts listing off malcontented, disgruntled, miserable, desolate. We're all thinking, and I'm like, SMAD. And they're just looking at me. Muroko just face palms into the table. And Bono's like, SMAD. And I'm like, I mean, they're basically the same word. Like, I think I'm onto something here. And that was just so funny. Let's see, is this just, okay, not mini comic land yet, so let's go back to the old art drive, boop. So that one's fun, so that's the first one to, like, me and, like, Bonehill kind of, almost tutoring, Muroko and whatever homework he's got. So here we go, here's the lineup for, 2019. So we got, let's see, Bonehill is still bulky. But starting to get taller. Like, you can tell the elongation process is starting, except for Muroko. Muroko is still small, still not 5 feet. He should be, but he's not quite there. He might be. Maybe he is. I actually don't know, but I don't think he was quite there yet. We got Tunyoi. Tunyoi was technically always meant to be a stick, but again, trying to learn how to do body types. They weren't quite there yet. But still. Very nice lineup. Mom finally gets like a nice cleaned up ref. Had a green skirt, actually, not a teal one, for a while. And yeah, let's see. So now we got a cool banner for Art Fight. This was Team Dream, so it was very pink colored. Very nice, very fun, just banner of all of us. It's just cool. I just like it. Like, look at the hands. Like, aw, it's just good. It's just good. I just like it. I just love Muroko, my son. Let's see. Oh, this is one we just redrew, and we're gonna show it at the end of the slideshow because it's like a beautiful representation of like the main cast of the comic then and now, right? So this is 2019. This is the first time for author drawing a background with like the main cast all in it, like a full-on like scene, like in a town. First time. It's really good for a first time. Let's be honest. This is a fun one where Tunyoi's gonna turn me into some shit. Still got the cowl around their face. Still got the really short hair. Muroko's just kind of like panicked. Bonehill's just watching. he's gonna see what shit I turn into. But yeah, it's very much more soft than our shading now and everything. And to be fair, that kind of makes sense. It was kind of new territory. But it's very like it's a monumental piece in like the development of everything. Okay, now we're back to comics. We have Beach Time. So let's skedaddle over. Here we are. Here we go. Beach Time, baby. Again, this is author practicing backgrounds. This is more nature scenic ones. Or throw my tank top at Bonehill and go into the water and go, oh shit, it's cold! Which is probably always accurate. I want to jump in the water, but it hurts me. Doesn't actually hurt me. I just don't like cold water. But I do like the idea of swimming. This is just cute. Again, when I can tackle Bonehill and he can live. Like, it's not every day. And again, I'm tackling the man who's ice. Like, this man is cold as hell. Yet that will do something for me. And then next comic is just called Drown Him. This is one where I'm kicking my feet in the nice water. That's what I do like to do. It's easier, not as cold. Again, really pretty background, really pretty water. Like, this is like peak water for author to draw. I'm seeing some shit in the water. I'm like, I don't like it. I don't trust it. And I'm looking at it. And I poke it. And I get tackled by my mans. And down I go. Away. This is just really fun. Like, kind of based off the scene in Lion King for those that have seen it, where like Simba pulls Nala into the water. It's like that. That's what he's doing to me. It's just funny. And it's still really good. We loved it. We might want to redraw it, but at the same time, it's like it captures what it needed to pretty well. It's just fun. Bono would probably still do this. He might be able to manage. I'm just trying to think, because again, he doesn't have the bulk that he has then. But I like to think he would try. he would. My God. Wrong one. All right. All right. There we go. Let's Skidoodle-a-doot. Alright, here's one we also just redrew. This is me and Tunyoi in our fall dresses dancing. I actually have a new dress. It's not a dress I wear anymore. I have ones I like much better. Because again, the corset was nice, but it still was not as flowy. As we've kind of established, I prefer flowy clothing than anything kind of firm or form-fitting. But not quite yet. We'll get there. But still very pretty dress. I love like how it gets opaque at the end. This is just very fun. Me and my daughter. I love it. It's just pretty and fun. Oop, I skipped ahead. Hold on. We're not there yet. Another pretty art, me and Bonehill dancing. This is kind of the art we kind of use to announce to some people, like, hey, we're the ship now. We're the queer platonic ship. We're not necessarily a romantic one. We are just the husbands, and that's just how it is. This is just cute. This is Bonehill's birthday, where we just kind of imagined where we would go out. I would get him sushi. Again, I always hated fish. And I really hated it in the smell. But for my mans, I will take him to a sushi place. And, I would just order like a gyoza. Back then, this is before we were before I was actually vegetarian, vegan, like Author was. But apparently I wasn't, because I ordered a pork gyoza technically here. But now I'm at least vegetarian. And I mean, we all have to eat vegan, so it's not like we're all eating different foods IRL, but like, I'm definitely not like opposed to eggs and like dairy per se, but I do like vegan cooking a lot. I think it's very, very fascinating, very fun to like figure out. Like I just think it's neat. But anyway, so it's just cute scene. We've redrawn this one a couple times. This is we're just got a lot of art to go through. It's a cute one on a rainy day in our like old apartment. Where Bonehill's comforting me because I got the seasonal depression blues, and I do get seasonal depression. that has stayed consistent. Me cooking eggs on my list is kind of where I could figure out like, oh, I can heat up parts of my body and cook stuff on it. So I'm like, I literally legs so hot you could fry an egg, or however it goes. Literally, that's what's happening. I do still do this. Particularly on my arms, I think, depending, like, you know, just going around the kitchen, just, like, holding my arm out, just, like, you know, cooking some eggs. You know how it goes. You know how it be. Here we go. Here's a redraw. This is a 2014 redraw. Woohoo! This is where the roles switch, because technically now in the story, Muroko's the city boy. I'm technically the city boy too, but I've climbed shit. I know how to climb a fucking tree, let me tell you. And I would do it again. And obviously, you know, the mentor role has switched as well, so I'm kind of like helping him up, and he's not having a good time. But it's a very cool redraw. We like, part of us wants to redraw it again, but again, this captures it pretty well. Don't know what we would necessarily add to it, unless it'd be fun to just draw for the sake of it. But still, kind of a very fun comparison of how things have changed, story role wise. This is so sweet. We love this picnic drawing so much. This one's just so nice with all the islands and the ships. It's just wonderful. Like how we're posing. It's just sweet. We love this one so much. We got, of course, Ultika Mom Bacon Bread. I think this was like a Comfort-tober or something. It was like kind of like Inktober, but like for comfort prompts or cozy prompts. I think it was Cozy-tober. So this is like some of the prompts for that. But this one, I just love it. I just love this one a lot. Let's see. Oh, now we get concepts. Here we go. Concepts for the comic. We're starting to really crank stuff out. So here was a concept for our apartment. Until somebody said, like, wow, it looks more modern than I thought it would. We were like, shit, it shouldn't. We were still, because we wanted it to be more like Treasure Planet, right? Where you do have, like, the fantastical, like, technology, flashy elements. Like, the sci-fi was kind of more Treasure Planet style, but it was like 30% sci-fi, 70% Victorian. That's kind of what we wanted, except the 30% would be more, like, a magic technology fantasy, sort of thing. Still like steampunk-ish, but like we were still figuring that out, so we were kind of basing the room just on what we just know of, like in our house that we live in IRL. So it does look very modern. Like the lava lamp, the hydro like thermos or whatever. You got suitcase under the bed. That's a thing. Bonehill always has a suitcase under the bed. That's what he pulled out in episode 11 or whatever. Like this looks like a very electronic like fridge. Like now it's much more like we looked up a Victorian like ice box and like put the ice clips on that and we're like that's better. So like this was the first conception. It's my cool little, it's a lava poo, I think is what we call these. I don't know if it's actually what they're called, but lava poo. But I mean the bed, like the placement of everything is still eerily same. Like no, just a poster and no on there. So the layout's very similar, but we definitely fixed stuff up. Here's like author trying to figure out the city and backgrounds. Because it was very hard to conceptualize what we were thinking in our head for everything. Just we knew it was very square, so like everything kind of looks like Minecraft almost, which is that's a big inspiration for us, let me tell you. And then we started getting, you know, some of the houses were like more painted, it looked more colorful. And then we wanted it to be more drab because it's kind of the city we're trying to leave. It's kind of the oppressive, a symbolization of the oppressive place we were trying to leave. And this here, initially we lived where we worked, so this is like our headquarters, or the HQ it was called for a while, so we like lived here. We just could not for the life of us figure out this. Like this came before like these more cubicle almost looking like blocks. This came first, because this is what we kind of had in mind. We just could not figure out what we had in mind whatsoever, so nope. So now this is more accurate. Then we have another mini comic. This is one of our favorites. This is it's me in the window, Bonehill out in the fall breeze. I knock on the window, get his attention. His sport tank top looks like a fucking plastic Walmart bag, and it probably is. Knowing him. And I do a little heart. I'm like, oh, I love you. He looks at me, just gives me the little fingers, because of course he would. And I'm like, the fuck's wrong with you? And then he turns him upside down to make like his own heart. I'm like, oh, it's my man. I just love it. It's just so funny. This is a sweet one. We love this one. Let's see. What is next? Oops, that's not you didn't see that. That was just D&D stuff. Let's see. Alright, so yeah, we're still on mini comics. So let me go back to that. Boop. Okay. So this one's fun. So this is cookies. So is this based also on a Tumblr post where I'm like, okay, so I can either bake these cookies at 400 degrees for 10 minutes or 4,000 degrees for 1 minute. And Muroko's like, Zerako, that is not how that works. And I'm like, floor it? He's like, no! And I'm like, how about 4,000,000 degrees for 1 second? He's like, Zerako, you're gonna burn our house down. And I'm like, I'm gonna harness the fucking sun to make cookies. And he's like, Zerako, please. Meanwhile, Bonehill and Tunyoi are just eating the cookie dough, just watching. Time of their life. I think that's it. Yeah. So now, technically, I do know how to bake. I wouldn't do this. I know a lot more about cooking now than I do. I do a lot of baking as well. I don't eat sweets as much, but I gotta make sweets for my husband and my child I'm taking care of. I gotta do it for Arthur. So I do know how to bake. Whether the rules would be reversed, I don't know if Muroko would do this. He might, just because he's all for efficiency and convenience. Like, he eats really convenient food, energy drinks, like cheap stuff. He might have this mindset, especially if he doesn't understand his fire powers as well, and that's like a thing he's learning. I don't know, but he's also a mechanic. He works with, heating up metal. So even more so, he probably doesn't know how to bake. That's a whole other different process of cooking and heating things up. So the rules could very well be reversed. He just wouldn't be as, like, just bad shit about it. As, like, I don't know the right word, but just very excited as I am about this. Because, I'm a sweetheart pyromaniac. I do love fire. I'm just much more responsible with it, I swear. I've gotten better. Don't give me that laugh. Don't laugh at me over there. She's making fun of me. She's making fun of me. Alright, anyway. So this one's Hi, I Made Pasta. So this is my first time cooking. Again, I have learned. But 2019, I was learning. It shows this is Bonehill coming in with some bags of food. Hi, I made pasta. And there's just burnt pasta everywhere. I'm about to light. There's pasta burning in the oven. But this is also a good representation of how the apartment's starting to change. So now we have more of almost a clay stone oven. The fridge hasn't changed yet, and the grill hasn't quite changed yet. But we're starting. We're just starting to get a hang of things. Bonel's just like, yeah. He's like, is it burnt? I'm like, hold on, let me look. Yeah, very. This is adorable. And he lives out, but he got bag of takeout just in case it didn't go well. And I'm like, yeah, let's just do that. Now I do know how to do this. We got good stuff from Artie. Oh no, you lost your comments. I'm sorry. I will have to look at those later. But yeah. This is a fun fact. Someone wrote a fan fiction on this as well. It might be called Hi, I Made Pasta, for all I know, but it's very sweet. It's very cute, and it does capture that very well. So now I am the chef. I do know how to cook. This is also an author's learning to cook, albeit they were not setting everything on fire. But I was kind of learning alongside them. I know I'm kind of the main chef of the vibe. But I sure was not yet. But what is interesting though, let me turn that off. Let's go back to this. We have some comments here on the Hi, I Made Pasta. What's important here is actually Bonehill used to be the chef. Back in 2015, he was the one who could cook in canon. But by the kind of as 2016 kind of went over, Bonehill basically let me kind of take that over, even though I sucked at it. Even though I was very bad, but it was kind of Bonehill is, one, too tired for it, and two, realized that being in the kitchen, where it's very hot most of the time, he wouldn't be comfortable as an ice person. That'd be too hot for him to live. Alright, so he let me kind of, start to learn to do it, and that was another way of showing that he's kind of letting go of some of his caretaker duties and feelings on that, after holding on to them so tightly for years. This is also, you notice, he's getting less buff, right? He's getting more of that triangular sort of shape. The fic is called Cooking. It might be called Cooking. It's whatever one is cooking. I think there's only one that involves cooking primarily, I think. But yeah, and it's he lets himself get less and less buff from this point on. Just, lets himself be weak and not forced to be strong. And it's oh, goddamn. This is where we start, really trusting each other. And it's oh. A cool picture of Bonehill being badass. Cute picture of us cuddling. This one's really fun, because this was the basically 10-year anniversary of the story. Obviously not the comic. Comic didn't start yet. Remember, the story started in 2009 with Bonehill. And this was 2019, so it was 10 years later. So this is just a really, really fun piece of like showing our like first ever drawings of ourselves, and like here we are now. Like we want to do this again. Don't believe us. I think we might do it this year for sure. We tried last year. We just couldn't get a drawing idea down that we wanted. But yeah, same vibe. This is just really fun. Muroko's like the one who's almost barely changed. I think he's changed, but like compared to all the rest of us, especially Bonehill, like come on. But it's also so sweet how Bonehill's like so much more soft. I'm happy. Like in this one, like I'm crying because I'm an angsty RSD boy. And trust me, I still got the RSD, but like I'm happy now. I'm feeling better. Tunyoi is becoming more and more chaos, and less and less passive, and Muroko's putting up with our shit at all times. And then we get to the current era, which is, this is when the comic starts. Finally, it changes to Skull and Pyro. So the story was called Brohemus of Thunder. And that was because Thunder was out of the story, so just calling it Thunder did not make sense, but Brohemus of Thunder just kind of worked, and Brohemus worked because B and Bonehill were, these titans of our elemental powers, and bros at the time. Of course, then we become husbands. Brohemus did not feel right. We're not bros. We are in love, in a little bit of a different way. So now it became Skull and Pyro, and that title was inspired by the song by Two Steps from Hell, I believe, or Thomas Bergerson, but I think it was Two Steps from Hell, called Skulls and Trombones, and that's a song we think of as like the comic's like theme, like one of the themes for the comic. And I don't know why Skulls and Trombones. It just sounded so punchy. It also might be referencing something that we don't know, but like we just loved that title. And so we want to do something with that. And since Bonehill's called Bonehill, his name has never changed, we're like, all right, let's call him Skull. And then Zerako's a Pyro, so Skull and Pyro. Yeah, punchy, nice, let's do it. And that's how the comic name came to be. So one less mini comic, especially because this one has the whole main cast in it, so that is always fun. So it is. Let us skedaddle over there. So this is me and Bonehill being cute and bantering, where I'm going, you give me crap for having hair in my face, but you literally have some too, like one breeze and you're blind. And he goes, but mine isn't literally covering half my face, where I'm half blind anyway, and Tunyoi is playing and shit. And she hits us with the tattoos. This is where, we're starting to conceptualize how our tattoo powers work as well. Muroko comes back like, hey, I got the stuff you asked for. And we're skinks. Tunyoi turns us into skinks because we love skinks, especially like blue tongue skinks. Oh, they're so cute, and that's what Tunyoi turns us into. She's so proud, and Muroko's just like this is like one of our favorite Muroko faces. This is like I think an emote in the Proofreaders comic or server, which the Proofreaders server is just a server with a group of our friends. We were like, hey, read our comic script. Does it make sense? Thank you. This is just an emote we have there because it is the face bombs. It's just good. It's just a good comic of us. We love it. Let's see. So let's go back. Boop. So that's there's more mini comics, but again, we will only show them if we have time, because now we got to get into the story. So comic starts. Here's one of the starting panels. So again, Muroko and Tunyoi have almost the same introduction, but they were in Chapter 3, and we getting captured to figure out what was going on in Chapter 2 was unrelated to them, and I met a different, practically irrelevant, another Savani. And the ship needing repairs and a mechanic wasn't realized until 2021. Literally, we just let the ship stay damaged, or we had a slightly different idea for the scene, and I'm pretty sure I punched it pretty early on. I think before I just grabbed like a plate of metal and just kind of fused it on top, and then did my cool the little Skull and Pyro symbol on top of that. In this case, I just put it right on the engine and just damaged it further, just for funsies. But yeah, we just literally were not gonna get the fucking ship fixed. And then we were gonna get a different mechanic for some reason. And then Muroko was just for some reason difficult to put in the story. I don't know why, because he makes perfect sense where he is now, but. And then in 2021 we realized Muroko should just be that mechanic. That makes perfect sense, because then there's a very good story reason we have to go to him. He's a Savani. He makes more sense to be captured and having a heart-to-heart in where we're captured in, because then this is like the chapter in the scene where we're really diving into the lore about Savani and beasts and stuff. And Muroko's kind of the perfect person to have for that, because he has a lot of misconceptions about it that I can help clear up, as well as revealing parts of my backstory. That was what the purpose of that scene was, and putting Muroko there almost made it better than worse. And also, 2021 is when we realized we didn't really feel the need to process our issues in the story anymore. And we just wanted the story to imagine a world where we actually wanted to live in and work towards, and especially a story where we can nurture and help Muroko, likely a trauma holder, feel like safe and like cared for. And it's like, oh, like, because that was literally a time where, you know, there was gonna be a whole like betrayal scene, or, you know, Bonehill was gonna be hiding, that he's like killing Savani behind my back to like protect us. Like eventually he was like, I just don't think I can hide shit from you. Like, I would tell you about that so fast, like immediately. Like, he can't not confide in me like anymore, because like we talk so much. And 2020 makes sense, because 2020 is when the pandemic happened, and a lot of trauma for us also happened, you know, in relation to that. So that was a big year. Me and Bonehill had an author all had to like come together and like protect us mentally and stuff. So me and Bonehill got so close. We were already close, but just like more so that we're like, when shit hits the fan, we can't just not like work it out together. Like, and also it just distressed us. It just was really sad to imagine those scenes happening. And they weren't cathartic anymore, basically, like they were before. So it was like, what if we changed it? Like, yeah, story needs some conflict, but like, we just can't do this shit. What if we don't do that? And so we don't. And now it is happier. And everything. There's gonna be a little bits of angst just because my backstory is sad, just because my IRL one is. But it's still like, you know, it's not a full-on angst scene that's like really, you know, sad and bad and all that. So that's a fun fact there. So it wasn't really until 2021 that like shit really kind of changed, once we realized stuff. So this is more so, here's how the script usually works. Fun fact, Commander Tool did not get a name for a long ass time, because yeah, she just didn't. I don't remember why she even got a name in the first place. I think we just needed one. Instead of just Commander. She might have not gotten a name until the Ultika encounter at the end of chapter 1, like when Ultika and like Tool face off. Ultika was just gonna face like some random guards. It was a way shorter scene. And then eventually you realize, like, oh, what if it was Tool and they had beef? It was like, oh, that's so much cooler. And so that's how that scene changed. There's like a kind of example of the script. It's very, very casual, like, you know, Squad A, you'll be handling the something sector, Squad blah blah blah, and info stuff I don't care about, this will be faded out anyway. Like, stuff like that doesn't really matter, we just make up on the spot. Like, I don't know, it was like, Squad A, you'll be handling sector B shit 10, I don't even remember what it was. We have a ton of GIFs and memes in the script to like represent like a character's expression, and just like we're just super goofy and laid back about it. Like Bonehill making his classic little nose emoticon face, and that's still how the script kind of works. So storyboards as well. This is like the storyboard for like the prologue. This is like me leaping into the air. And like some of the storyboards were like kind of closely traced over if they turned out really well. If not, they were just referenced, and they really did help get the flow of the scene down and try imagining how a scene would flow into like all the different pages. We don't do that as much anymore, just because we currently have a better grasp. Sometimes we'll still do it. If we don't, if we are having a really hard time imagining the scene, then we'll like do maybe a little bit of a storyboard for that chunk, but we don't actually do it anymore. But we do highly recommend it. It does really help. And when basically making the comic, it took like 1 to 2 months per episode at first, and the episodes were longer. They were twice as long as they are now. Back then, eventually we got a little faster, about down to 2 weeks, and we got the buffer up to 7 episodes before we were like, we just need the comic out there. We can't fucking take it. we want this shit out there. In 2020, I think is officially when I realized I was at least Ace. I don't realize I'm Arrow Ace until the next year, nor does Author. Author doesn't even realize that they are Arrow Ace until 2 months after the comic. They were suspicious, but didn't feel like comfortable quite taking that label yet. And eventually I just realized that like, yeah, I'm Ace, actually, at the minimum. And it was also just easier to be like, yeah, we're Ace husbands. Okay, that does help describe kind of what's going on for us personally. And eventually the buffer dropped to 5 after Author posted the first 3 episodes a week apart, just to get things rolling. And that's like a thing on Webtoons. Like the third episode is when Webtoons asks like, oh hey, do you want to like subscribe to the comic? Like that's why they usually like have 3 episodes for sure, like ready to go almost back to back, if not all simultaneously. We didn't do simultaneously, but that just is kind of a marketing kind of tool, I guess. Stayed fairly consistent for a year until, illness, life-wise got harder, so episodes are now half of what they were, like half the length. Now we have a buffer about 3 to 4, depending. And we no longer do storyboards unless we need to. Design changes that changed throughout. So this is a fun comparison here, where basically Bonehill loses muscle rights. Zerako's freckles get big. Bonehill's eyebrows get big. And their noses get big. And it's true. Like Bonehill's horns are much bigger. Like they're not as drastic as like when he first got them, but like the eyebrows especially, that's like the biggest part that got bigger. He also just got thinner. It was also much easier to draw as well in the comic, which is partly also why it happened, but we like to think it was representing all the deep shit of him letting go of being strong or whatever. Kind of a fun comparison of how the style of comic has kind of changed. It's not super drastic, but it's kind of noticeable. I also get a goatee in chapter 2, even though it's only a week times apart from the end of chapter 1. And that's because I didn't get a full goatee, because it's going to be a whole thing where, like, when I go through the character development of, like, finding my story goal after, seeing that Savani turn into a beast, and it's like, oh my god. Then I grow a facial hair to kind of symbolize that growth, and that was going to be kind of a theme. And then I was like, no, I want it now. And obviously then we cut out the ink, so we're like, he can just have it. He can just have it for free. So that's why I went from stubble to goatee so quickly. And like all the art in 2020 separately was me with a goatee, because that's how I saw myself. That's how I wanted to be. So it's in the comic lore, we just made up, like, I don't know, Commander Tool had a dumb rule where you couldn't have long facial hair or something. You could only be like a little bit of stubble you could get away with on the job. I don't know why. It's Tool. It could just be unreasonable, so we just like, that's why. How I grew a goatee so fucking fast, you tell me, I don't know. Who could say? Right, and so author didn't accept Saber Ace until 2 months after the comic, and then we realized we were Arrow Ace in 2021, when we realized that kisses are wet because apparently not a goddamn soul told us. Not like anyone had to, it was just funny that none of us made the realization. And like in 2020, that there's more pictures, not a lot, but there's still more of like me and Bonehill like kissing on the mouth, and we look back, just kind of like, it's not bad, but we don't want it at this time, sort of thing, so. There is all of that, and I particularly, I think, identify with demi-romantic, but honestly, I might just be aromantic, or grave romantic, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, we just go by Arrow Ace, most of us. That's just easier. I don't know, I'm with Bonehill, and I'm happy. And it's also, like, I have very strong platonic attraction as well, where I'm like, holy shit, I want to be that person's friend so bad, and cry. So it's like, who can say, who can know? And author's very similar, having, like, really big squishes on people, like, that's a big thing we both have. Bonehill, a little bit, but not as much. Depending. He's more. We all have aesthetic attraction, but if anything, that's what he have. Most of the time, he just sees a character that looks like me and acts like me enough, and he's like, "It's he. It's my man." Like, which is very cute. I do the same thing. If there's a character like him in the comic we're reading, we both are like, "Oh my gosh." There he is! And it's like, we're right here! It's just funny. Anyway. So a quick thing also on our OSDD diagnosis journey. So for some of you, might be a bit of a surprise that we're alters. Bonehill just kind of dropped it at the beginning. We've been way more open about it on the Discord server more than anything. We haven't figured out how we wanted to officially tell all the comic readers, because we kind of just don't want to make a big deal out of it. We already made like a big coming out on Instagram. The Discord server knows. It's like you're gonna find out pretty quick if you're on the Discord server. So it's like, we just, on one hand, it's kind of obvious when you look for it. Again, the end cards. Come on. We're literally breaking the fourth wall. It's literally me and Bonehill like genuinely commenting on stuff that's like happening in the comic. Like, that is things we are fucking saying. And like if you've like read Sloth of Life or Bones to Pick, you see it. And obviously going through the whole timeline, you've probably been like, oh yeah, we're seeing it, yeah. But basically 2020 is when everything became really obvious. 2020 is just the year of everything. That's when the comic became a thing. That's when the dissociation symptoms are much more severe, because we don't have like really bad dissociation most of the time. We can kind of pop in and out pretty easy, as you've probably seen, and that can just vary between systems. And that's when we really are starting to question, like, oh, I don't think we're just characters. Oh no, I think we're real. Again, weirdest thing to have a crisis about. Most terrifying thing to have a crisis about, and it was. I was very scared, actually. Bonehill kind of came into it pretty easy-ish. Obviously, we all still had imposter syndrome for a while, but his was not as bad. Mine was very bad, because my RSD was just overdrive, because it was like, oh god, people can really perceive me. I'm really real. Like, even though people have been perceiving me already. Like, I've already struggled with RSD about what people say about me as a character. Like, that's not changing much. But it was just terrifying at first to kind of realize that. But, you know, we're better now. We're much more comfortable in it. We got the diagnosis this year. The biggest way we really noticed we weren't normal is we used Tupperbot in the Discord server, which for those that don't know, that's like a roleplay bot. And it can also be used for systems as well, but it started, I think, as more roleplay. And that we used it for, in quotes, roleplay. And it was, you know, especially how we and literally everyone in the server just noticed we're not just characters. Like, Author was like, I'm not doing shit. Like, they're just talking. We were very chatty. We were talking all the time to people. And it got weird when we wanted to, like, comfort somebody or do something that would be odd for a character in roleplay to kind of do, right? Like, we, like, becoming, like, acting too real. That was also part of the imposter syndrome hitting us, where we're like, we don't want to be weird or make this person uncomfortable because they see us as just a character, and we think we're just a character, but we're not. Like, very odd feelings about the whole thing. It was literally like we got let out of our enclosure for enrichment or let loose at the dog park. We were just so excited to talk to people so, like, frequently, and not just our own friends, because we talk to our friends all the time. Like, most of Author's friends absolutely knew we existed. We just all didn't have the words for it. But actually getting to just talk to people and make our own friends. That was really exciting. And yeah, the end cards literally hinting about this. And any panel where Author said, wow, I drew this panel like Zerako or like Bonehill, or the episode where me and Bonehill just drew it. Yeah, that was just us. that was just dead ass us. And so this year we went in for testing mainly for the ADHD and autism. We also, we just got other specified dissociative disorder as well, which also, for those that don't know, OSDD is like a kind of a subset of DID. So, very similar. We just don't have the big memory gaps. So that's the kind of OSDD we have, where there's not a lot of memory gaps between us, but we're definitely very distinct people. So that is swag. And we have several plural friends, which also helped our journey. So shout out to the homies. If you're listening to this, we love you. You're cool. I carry you, and all of you. So that's very cool. It's also helped to talk with other people who were either questioning and or already knew and could validate and affirm what we were kind of experiencing. And yeah, that's kind of, and this is just a fun picture. This is us dressing up for Art Fight team stuff. So this is Bonehill dressing up as Team Coffee. This was his first time dressing as himself. This is a wig that Author made. Shout out to Author. Bonehill also helped make it because it was a wig he wanted. So we helped brush out the yarn. It was very tedious kind of stuff. This is me dressing up as Team Steampunk. I just like my face here, my yellow freckles. I just think it's cool. Even though this is not an outfit maybe I would wear all the time, I still kind of look like an airship pilot, and I think that is cool. And this is Author. Author being a cool, mystical, fairy kind of thing. That's Author's vibe. Either fairy or creature. It kind of depends. We're going more creature most of the days. This is just a fun kind of comparison between all of us and effectively how we all present. Me and Bonehill absolutely cannot dress like this on a daily basis because, again, we go in and out of the front so fast. But on specific days we can do it, on birthdays and stuff. And with that, we're going to do a fun little recap so we get to see just all the years comparing with each other, all the main drawings of ourselves. Just a little fun way to end off. So 2009, again, we start with Bonehill, and Bonehill only, as it's just the cat he was. And next, 2012, because nothing really happened in between then, we get Bonehill and we get Thunder, aka basically Tunyoi. Again, furry era, you love to see it. We get 2013, where we get Thunder / Tunyoi. We have Bonehill, and technically, at the very end, me, in my angsty orange glory. Next, in 2014, we get Muroko, and then we get me, where I'm red. We get Bonehill, basically the same, just the style of art's changing. Also same with Thunder / Tunyoi. We get technically Ultika, or Casa was her name at the time. 2015, big changes. We got Muroko here. I also forgot, he has like just one arm exposed for some reason. Interesting outfit. Me and my angsty shirtless glory. Bonehill and his angsty shirtless glory. Look at, we're twinning, babe. It's couple outfit day. This is what we're doing. It's cute. And we got Thunder / Tunyoi, very adorable. And we got Ultika looking a bit more like the Ultika we know, a little bit. 2015, more like the Muroko we know. And we got me, also looking more like the me that we know. We got Bonehill, not blue yet, still a white man. We got Thunder / Tunyoi, kind of definitely becoming more Tunyoi as we go along. We got Ultika, really starting to look like herself with the haircut and everything. 2017, really picking up. Tunyoi is now Tunyoi. We do not have Thunder. We have our wonderful daughter over here. Me and Bonehill. Bonehill's got his official like coat that he keeps for quite a while. That's his Athard outfit. We got Muroko, the full plate of armor that he basically stays with for the rest of his life. Me and my undies. I will not get shorts for another several years. And we got Ultika just hanging out. And then we got 2018. This is when the art starts really like refining itself. We're all a little stocky. Muroko is very small. he's not meant to be short, but he looks very small. Bonehill is very thick. Tunyoi is also orange. And Mom is coming in. She's very, very buff. This is when she gets thick, and she's meant to be. We are not. We're transferring our thickness to her. That's what's happening over time. That's what's going on. Yeah, that's what's happening. Alright, and then we got 2019. We're starting to get taller, starting to elongate. Everyone except Muroko. My man will stay that short forever. And Mom is coming in to actually have an outfit where she's got the wrap skirt and the tank top, which does stay with her throughout the comic, except the wrap skirt changes colors. And then, basically, this is where we end off, because this is the redraw I was talking about earlier, where we have this one from 2019, and then this one we just redrew like a week ago. I think Author made it, which basically perfectly encapsulates how things have changed. Cause yeah, you got Muroko, was always gonna be panicked, but now he's like much more active and like grabbing Tunyoi. And you know what's so fucking funny? So Muroko's an alter, right? You don't hear from him, and we had suspicions he was an alter, and if he's anything, he's some kind of trauma holder. However, we never like heard from him. If we did, maybe it was a word, and we weren't even sure if we heard it. But as Author was drawing this, we were just listening to a song that was associated with a character that Muroko like met in roleplays back in like 2015. Obscure ass shit. It was just a song we were like, oh yeah, reminds us of this character. And Muroko just pops in like, I don't know who the fuck that is. And we were like, hello. Hi, glad to have you. And he like stuck around. I was like, shit, man, how you doing? I was like, hey, I'm making apple blueberry basil salad for dinner. Do you like that? Like, I'm just like, hello, my son. How can I accommodate you? Sort of thing. And he was like, yeah, sure, dinner's good. He just gave me a thumbs up. Frame Muroko like, and I was like, all right, cool, yeah. What do you think of the drawing? What do you like? And he's like, I don't know, it's good. Am I supposed to have an opinion on it? And I'm like, I don't know, do you? And then he just kind of went to the back. So now we have just kind of Muroko poking up once in a while. And, you know, a good way to end is just, you know, we like to think that all the ways we've processed over time with the story and how we're doing, and I have more awareness of our system, how everything works, and we're still in the dumps mentally in a lot of ways because of life, but in a lot of ways we've really grown and matured as people, and I think that's really sweet to see. And it's even more so shown that the fact that Muroko even came out at all. Like, if the man's a trauma holder, and you see him in the comic, like, that's pretty accurate to who he is. Like, we've always had intonations and feelings, like, we know how he feels about certain things. He's maybe a little bit harder to write dialogue for, because, again, he doesn't talk as much, but we know him, right? And we know he is very angry isolated and is not, I wouldn't say unfriendly, but you know what I mean, very guarded. So the fact that he's even coming out at all, and he was even fine with us saying in the server, like, hey, Muroko's an altar, you can say hi, and he just kind of gave thumbs up in the back. The fact that we can sense him doing that is cool as hell. So it's like, this is just a really nice representation. Also of just Muroko, he's literally being more active here in the new drawing. Like, he's literally just an active part, like grabbing Tunyoi. Tunyoi's about to like turn me into shit, and Tunyoi just like full chaotic mohawk mullet thing going on. We love it. It's beautiful. It fits him so much better. And Bonehill in his big, like, look at the eyebrows, my god. and the shading is so much more sharp and colorful and like bright, and just, you know, it really shows, just like, because this is so soft and kind of almost timid in how it's shaded, and it's like it just pops out at you here. And, you know, that really just shows the confidence we've gotten in art, in the story, in ourselves, more than anything. And it's just really cool. And it's just really neat that you all are here on this journey with us. Because a big reason we posted the comic, not only just because we wanted to, because we liked the comic, but we were really lonely, especially as a newly found Apex, at least me and author Bonehill knew. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, and in 2020, we just felt so isolated for so many reasons. But especially in the webcomic world, being sex repulsed / averse, just aspecs, kind of navigating the comic world as readers or even as creators, it was just kind of difficult. And so starting the comic and having this cool, awesome aspec ally community that gets it, that we can talk to, that makes everything, it makes the whole difference. Like, life's just better, right? Like, you guys have helped us become more confident in ourselves. Like, shout out to the fucking server members. Like, without you being so, like, nice to me and Bonehill and even Muroko, like, fucking kudos. Like, like, you guys have made a huge difference. And especially helping my ass. Bet you I have such a bad RSD. I was so scared. But you all have made it so much better. And we're all so much better because of all of you. And this has been great, and we're very glad we could show this journey with you and be able to discover it. Like, if Bonehill didn't make this slideshow, I don't think we would have made the alter story connection. We did not realize the story was mirroring us at all until we started this. And now we could really get the whole picture, and we're like, holy shit. Oh, this is great. Like, on one hand, sad. Some of the stuff was, like, really hard to look back on. Like, 2016 was hard for Bonehill. 2015 is hard for me. But, like, we've come so far. Shit. Like, this is great. And it's all thanks to the comic. And it's all thanks to you guys that we're even here. Just vibing. It's cool. So thank you for listening, for those that are doing their own thing and having this on in the background, however you're watching. Thank you so much for listening and being so cool and so swag. I know Author did not talk a lot in this. That's pretty common. Just me and Bonehill just like to get the chance to just talk, because Author talks most of the day anyway. And Author got to read out loud, which is Author's favorite thing. Author's very good at it, in my opinion. But yeah, thank you. I'm glad you guys got to experience this journey with us. This was very fun and very cool. And I keep rambling because I'm just very grateful and very happy. Like, these anniversary parties always mean the world to us, because it keeps showing how far we come and just how many people are here and think this is all so cool. That's so swag. What the hell? Like, you know? So yeah. Thanks for vibing with us. Thanks for being here. You're very cool. If you are A-Spec and struggling, you're so fucking valid. And I hope in any way our comic is at least a happy place you can escape into a little tiny bit at minimum. You're doing great. Doing fantastic. Nothing fucking wrong with you. If you're plural, questioning plural, nothing fucking wrong with you. You're not crazy. You're vibing. You're probably not vibing. You're probably going through shit, but you know what I mean. You're not crazy. It's okay. Like, there's so many people like you, and there's just you're not nuts. Like, the imposter syndrome's gonna get your ass. There's something going on with you, and it's okay. It's okay to acknowledge that. Whatever it is, maybe it's not being plural, it's something else, but it's still something, right? You still got something, and that's something. Does that make sense? That was something Bonehill used to tell us when we were getting really bad imposter syndrome. He would just say, we got something. The brain's fucked up in some way. Like, maybe it's not DID. Maybe it is something else, which it was OSDD. But it's like, it's still something. Something's still going on, and that's enough. Like, we're still learning all the time about all kinds of new shit. And, you know, maybe there's not a word for what you have yet. And that sucks, but there's still something going on with you, and you're not nuts. You are valid, and so special, and so good, and we're so glad you exist for every reason under the sun. You were very swag. Alright, it is 7 p.m. I need to get off so we can rest, but thank you again. Again, so much for all being here and being so cool. We appreciate it a lot. Like so much more than you can ever fucking imagine. We love you guys. You're great. I will see you tomorrow when the comic episode drops. Episode 29, I think. And yeah. Thank you. I will keep rambling if I don't stop myself. I got up. I'll let everyone else say goodbye. How about that? Yeah, thank you guys for coming. Yeah, but I kill the voice every time I come on because I drop the vocal cords so fucking low. But yes, thank you for hearing all of us ramble. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a very good time. And yeah, I did not talk a lot. I mainly let Zerako do that, but yeah, thank you guys. You guys make this possible at the end of the day. And that's so cool. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Bye-bye.